Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. We've shifted things up a bit today. We're in a hotel room in Shoreditch as opposed to sitting in the front seat or the passenger seat of my hire car. Today, I want to talk to you guys about Enzo Maresca'S first Chelsea starting 11. I know it's pre-season. It's often all about fitness, and then as pre-season starts to go on, the matches get a bit tougher. We finish against Real Madrid after playing Man City. So it could be a tough pre-season for Chelsea, but we've got Wrexham in Santa Clara on July the 24th, which is less than 20 days away, less than 3 weeks until Chelsea season kicks off. At the moment, Enzo Maresca, he's elusive. He's nowhere to be seen at Cobham. The players that are there are kind of just doing fitness drills and getting themselves back into things. And the chances are the starting 11 that we build today will probably not be anywhere close to what we see for the majority of pre-season. And what I've done is I have built an 11 which allows us to answer as many questions as we can, realistically, in Chelsea's first match against Wrexham. There's going to be players that will probably be playing until the very end of the international competitions, both Copa America, Enzo's now in the semi. If England go on and win it, which hopefully we will, Gallagher and Palmer won't be back and probably won't feature until about midway through the pre-season tour, if at all. So, what I have done is I have built a starting 11 where we get to answer some of the questions. We get to see some of the players that Enzo Maresca will likely have questions on himself. And a lot of what I've built here today, I've gone with a 4-3-3. It's actually a really exciting starting 11. Yes, there are potential pitfalls in it, and I'm not saying that this is Chelsea's best 11. I'm not saying that this is going to be Enzo Maresca's best 11, but we begin. We're not going to just waste any more time. Let's now start building this team with Robert Sanchez as the goalkeeper. All of the rumours, we've spoken about it this week. The rumours are that Maresca sees Sanchez as his number one for next season. And for 1 second here, I don't believe this is the case. I genuinely think that the likelihood is Chelsea have scouted the goalkeeping market. The goalkeepers that they would think would be directly ready to replace him, probably too expensive. They're probably prioritising other positions. But I think we're going to learn very quickly in pre-season that Maresca is going to struggle to get what he wants out of Sanchez as the keeper. Even Petrovic. I like seeing Petrovic in goal last season for Chelsea. But the way that Maresca wants to play, it makes this goalkeeping position so important. But I think it also shines a light on the fact that in terms of the profiling of the squad, Sanchez and Petrovic are unlikely to be the two goalkeepers that can play out from the back. Sanchez's distribution is not good. I really don't rate Sanchez as a keeper, but I think we need to know soon in pre-season because obviously Sanchez hasn't been playing for Spain. He's not been playing a lot of football for Chelsea. He's going to be fit and ready, we're hoping, for the start of the season. So Sanchez will get the chance to shine early doors and we'll get to figure out if he can actually play the way that Maresca wants to, playing out from the back. We move into a back four. This is very, very exciting. We got the confirmation yesterday that Wesley Fofana is fit and ready to play pre-season for Chelsea. This is massive news. Malo Gusto, I think he might well be going to France for the Olympics, so maybe I've got this one completely wrong, but it could easily be Reece James in there as well to regain fitness if he's fit enough to start pre-season. Wesley Fofana and Levi Colwill with Ben Chilwell as a left-back. We know that Enzo Maresca likes to play with inverted fullbacks, but I'm thinking Spain are going to beat Germany today. Spain are going to make it to the Euros final. Cucurella won't be ready to play against Wrexham. Ben Chilwell is the obvious left-back option. Now, Colwill and Fofana. I'm going to make a statement here. I think we're going to see very quickly that these two centre-backs are the best two centre-backs for Enzo Maresca's Chelsea for the upcoming season. If Wesley Fofana can stay fit, it's going to feel like a brand new signing again. Same as Romeo Lavia, who we'll talk about in a moment. But with Fofana and Colwill, you've got two centre-backs who are happy to receive the ball deep, carry the ball out from the back. Levi Colwill last season, I'm going to say, as much as we didn't really have many options, Colwill's ability was suffocated under Maurizio Pochettino. We saw him too often as a left-back, And I think as much as he's got the ability to be able to fit into different positions across that back line, which of course, when Chelsea are looking to play different ways, we know that there is going to be players that will have to fit into unnatural positions at times, particularly with the injury record that we've got. But Colwill and Fofana, this centre-back pairing, we've got to get them playing together for a start, and that is the best time to do so. And I think when it comes to all of the changes that we're seeing at Chelsea, this pre-season is the perfect opportunity to start bedding the spine of the team in, which is why we've put Sanchez in goal, because if that's what Maresca wants, we need to start seeing a consistent spine early. As much as we've already said at the start of the video, pre-season is about getting players minutes, getting players fit again, it also should be a time where we're trying to deploy new tactics. We're trying to see a shape of a team and a spine of a team with consistency from early doors. Because when you look at the fixtures, we've got Wrexham, I can't remember the other two games in the middle, there's Celtic, Man City, Real Madrid. We've now got a friendly against Inter Milan at Stamford Bridge on the 11th. These are against really good opposition. And as much as they're not going to be, Real Madrid won't be playing it like it's a Champions League final, it's still the kind of calibre which will test the ability of these players against good enough opposition so that we can start recognising patterns across the field. So, Ben Chilwell also, as a left-back, I'm not entirely sure that Chilwell will even be a Chelsea player come the end of this transfer window, and I certainly don't think he can be as good as Marc Cucurella when it comes to that inversion role. So I do think Chelsea will be in the market for a left-back during this window. We move into an absolutely fascinating and very exciting midfield three: Romeo Lavia, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, and Andre Santos. Now, there's a lot of talk about Santos, saying that he could well be involved in the Chelsea first team next season. Now that we've bought in Dewsbury-Hall for 30 million, Conor Gallagher is still a Chelsea player. Obviously, he'll still be at the Euros for this game against Wrexham. But when you're looking at potential opportunities here, Santos has an opportunity in pre-season. But we saw this last season under Pochettino. Santos was really good. He was receiving the ball in front of the back line, playing next to Enzo. Then he was distributing it forward quickly. He was dribbling forward quickly. And I really think that Andre Santos is one of those players where, as much as we're seeing a carousel almost at Chelsea at the moment, where we're buying these young talents for cheap and then we're selling them for like 5, 10, 15, 20 mil profit, with Santos, I wouldn't sleep on him. I think genuinely there is such a talented player there, and I hope that Enzo Maresca gives him the opportunity. Romeo Lavia, this is a brand new signing. Romeo Lavia is also fit. It was the same in the announcement yesterday about Wesley Fofana. Lavia is ready for pre-season. And I think, again, this is such an exciting opportunity for Enzo Maresca to work with these players, to give them the opportunity for Lavia to be like, right, if we're going to play with a midfield three, can you be a lone six? If it's going to be Santos dropping deep or Dewsbury-Hall dropping deep, but I've seen some comments from Leicester fans that as much as he calls himself a box-to-box midfielder, it's the attacking third where Dewsbury-Hall is at his best and not necessarily the defensive work rate. So, if that's the case, you've seen Santos dropping deep with Enzo during last season's pre-season, if you remember in the early phases. See that with Romeo Lavia. See how things go, and then allow Dewsbury-Hall to kind of be that roamer, the player that can dribble, the player that can take it forward and link up those attacking three that we're about to go through in a second. This, to me, is an amazing potential midfield. I'm not saying it's all technically going to work together, but when it comes to that pre-season excitement, players that will need minutes, players that Maresca will want to see play across different positions, both in, out of possession, in transitions, we're going to learn a lot about how Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, a player that Enzo Maresca knows so well, how is he going to be able to link up? Who is he going to link up with? And I think in terms of the midfield profiling, when you've got Lavia, Caicedo, Gallagher, Enzo, so many different types of players, with Dewsbury-Hall coming in, I think we can expect Enzo Maresca to use the players he knows, because it's one less player that needs to learn the system. It's one less player that needs to understand what he's got to do, where he's got to be, and where he's got to go. So this midfield three, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below. I want to stress again, this isn't the best Chelsea 11. This isn't Enzo Maresca's best 11. This is how do we learn and get as many answers as early as we can with the time that we have in pre-season. We move into a front three. Noni Madueke, you've seen him training. You think he's in Spain at the moment and he's doing a lot of work, or in Portugal with the football coach. I think the guy's name is on Instagram. Christopher Nkunku through the middle with Nicholas Jackson on the left wing. Noni Madueke, I think this is a big season for him. I think the fact that Chelsea missed out on Michael Olise means that we might start to look over on the left-hand side. Federico Chiesa is available for 25 million. Thoughts on that in the comments down below. But Noni Madueke could have a massive season. He was looking so good come the end of last season. And I think we've got ourselves a player here. Christopher Nkunku, the longer it goes before Chelsea make a signing up front that is like a high-profile signing, the more I think that Christopher Nkunku could be used a lot this season through the middle. Nicholas Jackson on the left wing. This is also something that I expect to see more of, particularly if Enzo Maresca does get a top striker, an experienced striker through the door at Chelsea this summer. There's obviously Mark Gu that I know a lot of you guys are going to want to see. Obviously, I want to see him play as well. The chances are he will get a lot of minutes during this pre-season as an opportunity to show what he can do. But the longer it goes where Chelsea don't sign that high-profile striker, we're going to need to use Mark Gu for the upcoming season. So there will be rotation minutes for Jackson, Nkunku, and Mark Gu through the middle whilst we start to understand how Maresca wants to set us up, how we want to play. Do we want Nicholas Jackson to be dropping deep, which we've seen a lot of times last season for Leicester? Jamie Vardy's obviously getting older, but he was hardly touching the ball. And for an Enzo Maresca team, could we expect that? In which case, you've got Nkunku, who wants to get involved a bit deeper. You've got Jackson, who wants to get involved a bit deeper. What is the striker profile going to be? Are we going to see direct replicas of what Leicester did last season at Chelsea? And these are the questions that the early phases of pre-season will likely tell us. And I think if we take it back to last pre-season, where I was really excited, the way that Pochettino had us playing, when you had Nkunku, Mudryk, Jackson on fire in that game against Brighton, I think Dortmund as well last pre-season. The Dortmund game I think we drew, but that game against Brighton, Chelsea were electric. The way that we were getting the ball forward, and then the moment that Nkunku went off the pitch against Dortmund, I kind of feel as though that is where the potential for Chelsea's season stagnated. And I don't want to jinx it here, and you guys are going to hate me for even saying this, but we're back in America again. The pitches are not very good, and I do worry that there could be more issues coming for potential players getting injuries because of the ground that we're playing on, which would be a disaster. I think Maresca will be aware of this. A lot of what happened with Nkunku was also down to the fact the pitch was bad, but it was also a foul. But at the same time, I look at this Chelsea starting 11, and I think the biggest ones that I'm looking forward to seeing are obviously Lavia, Fofana coming back in. I'm not really excited about Sanchez. I think there's not much that's going to change my mind about that. Dewsbury Hall. I spoke in a video earlier this week about why it could be a masterstroke genius signing for Chelsea. So check that video out if you haven't already done so. But this front three, I think we could see this a lot. I know that Cole Palmer's obviously still to come back. Could we see Nkunku playing as like an advanced 8? Could we see a lone 6 with 2 8s and Nkunku or Palmer be one of them this season? There are so many things that as Chelsea fans, we should be looking forward to during this pre-season tour. So, if you're not yet subscribed to the George Benson Football channel, which is where you are right now, make sure you do subscribe so that you don't miss any of the content. We're going to be dropping kind of like on-the-go news vlogs whilst we're in the US. We're going to be doing previews, obviously, 6 things we learnt, match day vlogs. There's going to be 2 or 3 videos a day during this tour. I cannot wait. I'm going to be on the ground doing as much as I can to cover everything and, of course, entertain your faces. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Smack a like if you did enjoy it. Let me know what players you're looking forward to seeing in a Chelsea shirt under our new manager, who's still not available at Cobham. Where is he? What's he doing? Is he stuck in his wardrobe? I don't know what he's doing. We don't have a clue at this point. But Enzo Maresca'S Chelsea are coming to Santa Clara on the 24th of July to face Wrexham, and we'll be there for it. Come on, you Blues.